Hello students, myself Jinali Shah from Saraswati International Academy. Today we will begin with the next part of the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. In last lecture we studied regarding the monohybrid experiment and monohybrid cross. What do you mean by monohybrid experiments? Those experiments which study the inheritance of one gene, they are called as the monohybrid experiment, and the cross is called as basically, say for example, if we consider height as one of the characters, so we have studied as proposed by Mendel. He crossed a pure tall plant with a pure dwarf plant, and in F1 generation he found that all the plants were tall, none of the plants were dwarf. Now Mendel, he gave the method to alphabetically represent the genes. So basically in the F1 generation they were heterozygote. What was that condition? All the plants were tall, but the genes present in them was capital T, small t. So what is this cross called as? Monohybrid cross. Why it is called as a monohybrid cross? Because of a allele only one of the gene have expressed its character in the hybrid. As one of the gene have expressed its character in hybrid, it is called as the monohybrid cross. Now students, we will further continue with this topic only, that is the inheritance of one gene. Now students, in the F2 generation, the recessive parental trait is expressed without any blending. Now students, lastly we have studied the cross between a pure tall plant and a pure dwarf plant. In that you have seen that all the F1 plants were tall, none of the F1 plant was dwarf. So only one parental character was expressed in the F1 generation. We have also studied regarding the F2 generation. Students, in the F2 generation, 1/4 of the plant showed the dwarfness condition, right? 1/4 of the plants, they show the dwarfness condition, and 3/4 of the plants were tall. But in the F2 generation, the dwarfness character which was hidden, which was not expressed in the F1 generation, it got expressed in the F2 generation. So in the F2 generation, the recessive parental trait, which was a recessive parental trait, the dwarfness was the recessive parental trait. So that dwarfness character which got expressed in the F2 generation, it was without any blending. What does it indicate? That none of the plants in the F2 generation were of in between height. Either all the plants were tall or they were dwarf. They were as tall as the parent and they were as dwarf as the parent. None of the plants were in between height. So dwarfness character which got expressed in the F2 generation, it was without blending. So in F2 generation, blending means there was no mixing. No mixing means there were no plants having the height in between tall and dwarf. Either all the plants were tall or they were dwarf. None of the plants in the F2 generation was of in between height. So students, in the F2 generation, the recessive parental trait is expressed without any blending. From this we can infer that when the tall and dwarf plants, they produce gametes, by the process of meiosis, the alleles of the parental pair, they separate or segregate from each other, and only one allele is transmitted to a gamete. So what does that indicate? From this we can conclude, we can infer that when the gametes are produced by tall and dwarf plants by the process, we know students, for the formation of gametes. We have already studied in the process of reproduction that during the formation of gametes the process of meiosis take place. So when the tall and dwarf plants they produce the gametes by the process of meiosis, what will happen? Of a pair of allele, what will happen? This allele they separate from each other and only one allele is present in the gamete. Say for example students, the parental pair is tall. So say for example the gamete contains students, say for example there is a gene capital T in the parents. Now this parent will produce the gametes by the process of meiosis. Now what happens during the process of meiosis? So here there is a pair of allele. Now when there is a pair of allele, it forms the gamete by the process of meiosis. When this pair of allele, it forms the gamete by the process of meiosis, then the gametes will receive only one allele of a pair. See here, parental type is having a pair of allele, but here when this forms the gametes by the process of meiosis, then the gametes formed, they receive only one allele of a pair of alleles. See here, there are two capital T genes, whereas in the gametes of a pair only one gene is present. Same way, when the dwarf plant, it also produces the gamete, then of a pair of allele, the gamete will contain only one allele. That is very important. Of a pair of alleles, only one allele is present in the gamete. Okay. So what have been concluded? It have been inferred that when the tall and dwarf plants they produce the gametes by the process of meiosis, the alleles of the parental pair they separate and segregate from each other and only one allele is transmitted to the gamete. So here you can see that this is a pair of allele which by the process of meiosis forms the gamete, and this gamete contains only one allele of a pair of allele. Now students, this process of segregation is a random process, and so there is a 50% chance of a gamete containing either allele has been verified by the various crossings. Now say for example the tallness in the hybrid plant, say for example, so this is a condition, these plants are also tall plants but it is heterozygous condition. So in a heterozygous, see both these conditions are which conditions? These are homozygous condition. But what in the heterozygous condition? In the heterozygous condition, during the process of gamete formation, what happens? These are the gametes. Now, there is a 50% chance that the gamete will receive either of the allele. 50% of the gametes receives capital T, 50% of the gamete receives small t. And all this, it is not a random, basically it is not just a saying, all these results are concluded by the crossings. Crossings have been conducted and then the results have been inferred. The gametes of that all tall plants have the allele capital T. So here you can see these are the homozygous tall plants. Okay. Now their gametes have which alleles? They have the alleles capital T. And the gametes of the dwarf TT plants. So now this is a dwarf, this is a tall plant whose all gametes contain which genes? Capital T, capital T. And the gametes of the dwarf plants, that is these are the dwarf plants, they contain which gene? Small t genes or small t alleles. So the gamete of the dwarf TT plants, that is small t plants, have the allele small t. Now students, at the time of sexual reproduction, the gametes are formed. But after the formation of gametes, what occurs after the process of formation of gametes? There will be the fusion of the gametes. So what happens during the fertilization process? What happens during the process of fertilization? We will see that. So say for example, this is a tall plant which have been crossed with the dwarf plants. Now all the gametes produced by, G indicates the gamete, all the gametes produced by the tall plants will contain which allele? It will contain the allele capital T. And all the gametes produced by the dwarf plant, this is a dwarf plant, this is a tall plant, all the gametes produced by the tall plants will contain the allele capital T. All the gametes produced by the dwarf plants will contain the allele small t. So now, say for example, dwarf plant is a male plant and the dwarf plant is a female plant. So basically tall plant through its pollen will produce the gamete containing the allele capital T, and the dwarf plant through the egg will produce the small t allele will contain the small t allele in the gametes. Now these are the gametes formed. Now the fertilization will take place and it results in the formation of the F1 progeny. So what will be the condition? Then the zygote will be produced, and the zygote produced through such fusion will contain the hybrid, that is it will contain the capital T gene as well as the small t gene. So during the fertilization, the two alleles, that is capital T from one parent through pollen and small t from the other parent, then through the egg, are united to produce the zygotes that have one capital T allele and one small t allele. So here students, you can see that, see these were the parents, they were tall, pure tall and pure dwarf. The tall parent was having capital T gene. Now at the time of gamete formation, what happens? The meiosis occurs and segregation occurs. So gamete will contain only one gene of a pair of allele, or you can say the gametes contain only one allele of a pair of allele. So the gametes of the tall plants will contain which allele? Capital T. Similarly, the gametes of the basically dwarf plants will contain which allele? It will contain the small t allele. Now after the formation of gametes, fertilization takes place, and during fertilization what will happen? The fusion of the gametes will take place, zygotes will be formed. So these zygotes contain both the allele, one capital T allele and one of the small t allele. So during fertilization, the two alleles, that is capital T from one parent through pollen and small t from other parent through egg, are united to produce the zygotes, and that zygotes have capital T allele as well as it will have the small t allele. So hybrids are which type of hybrids? They have capital T gene as well as small t gene. Now since these hybrids contain the alleles which express the contrasting traits, see this is a hybrid, right? Now this hybrid contains what? It contains the alleles which express the contrasting traits. Say for example, we know capital T means tallness, and small t means dwarfness. So this hybrid contains the genes which express the contrasting trait, because one of the allele expresses which character? Tallness. One of the allele expresses which character? Dwarfness. So the plants are which type of plants? These are heterozygous. Which type of plants? Heterozygous. Now, the production of the gametes by the parents, the formation of the zygotes, and the F1 and F2 plants can be understood through a diagram called as Punnett square. Now, plants will produce which type of gametes? After formation of gametes, which type of zygotes will be formed? And finally, what would be the F1 and F2 plants? That can be easily understood through a diagram called as the Punnett square. So, students, our next topic will be the Punnett square. Now students, I told you that which type of gametes are formed, what would be the combination in the zygotes, what could be the genotypes of F1 and F2 plants, that all can be shown through the formation. It can be shown diagrammatically through the formation of Punnett square. So now students, what is Punnett square? So basically it is a graphical representation to show the possibilities of formation of gametes, formation of zygotes, as well as the genotypes of F1 and F2 plants. This technique was given by geneticist Reginald C. Punnett. Who gave this technique? Reginald C. Punnett, and therefore it is called as the Punnett square. So students, what is Punnett square? So it is the graphical representation to calculate the probability of all the possible genotypes of the offsprings in a genetic cross. So, what is Punnett square? So, students, if we want to represent or if we want to know what could be the possible genotypes of the offsprings, then this could be shown by the graphical representation called as the Punnett square. So, basically to determine the genotypes of the offsprings in the genetic cross, a graphical representation method is given, and that graphical representation is called as Punnett square. Now, how is this graphical representation done? Students, first of all, I'll explain you theoretically, and then we will study the formation of the Punnett square graphically. So, basically for the formation, how Punnett square is formed. So, students, the possible gametes are written on two sides, usually the top rows and the left columns. So, where the gametes are written? The gametes are written. Students, this is very, very important. Where to write the gametes? So, the gametes, they are written on the two sides. Normally, the top rows and the left columns. How are gametes or where are gametes written in a Punnett square? So, gametes are written on the two sides, normally the top rows and the left columns. It will be clear when I show it to you graphically. Now, the possible combinations are represented in the boxes below in the squares which generate a square output form. Now, gametes are written on the top rows and on the left column. Now, through these crosses, whatever combinations are possible, these combinations are written in the squares, and finally it will give a square output form of the possible genotypes. Now, the Punnett square, it shows the parental tall, say for example capital T male, and dwarf small t female plants, the gametes produced by them, and the F1 capital T, the F1 capital T, small t progeny. What the Punnett square shows? The Punnett square shows that the parental tall plants, which type of plants they are? Pure tall and pure dwarf. So pure tall plants will have the genotype capital T, and suppose that plant is a male plant, and the dwarf plant with the genotype small t is a female plant. Now, which type of the gametes will be produced by that parental plants? And the genotype in the F1 plants, that is capital T, small t, then it could be shown through the Punnett square. Now, what happens after that? So, the F1 plants which have the genotype capital T, small t, they are self-pollinated. The F1 plants of the genotype capital T, small t, they are self-pollinated. Now, for that, the symbols, students, are very important. The symbols, this symbol is for the female egg, and this particular symbol is for the male. Okay, so to represent the male and female gamete, the symbols are used. So this symbol is used to denote the female, and this particular symbol is used to denote the male. So these particular symbols are used to denote the males and females of the F1 generation respectively. Now, what happens when the F1 plants which are of the genotype capital T, small t, self-pollinated? So now, as we know that during gametogenesis or during the formation of gametes, we have already studied that of a pair of allele, they get separated and the gamete will contain only one of the allele of a pair of allele. So say for example, we are talking about the F1 plants. So now this is the genotype of the F1 plants. So what will be the genotype of the gametes produced by these F1 plants? So 50% of the gametes will have the genotype capital T, and 50% of the gametes will have the genotype small t. So the plants of the F1 generation, when they are self-pollinated, they produce the gametes of the equal proportion. So basically 50% of the gametes will have the genotype capital T, and 50% of the gametes will have the genotype small t. Now, when fertilization occurs, so basically F1 plants are self-pollinated, right? So again there will be the another F1 plant. One will be capital T, one will be small t. So now, when the fertilization occurs, the pollens of the genotype, now say for example, this I consider as a male and this I consider as a female. Now, what are the chances when fertilization occurs? So, when fertilization occurs, say for example, we are talking about this particular pollen grain with the genotype capital T. So, what are the chances? This is a male parent, this is a female parent. Students, be very careful. This is a male parent, this is a female parent. These are the male gametes, these are the female gametes. Now after the formation of gametes, what process occurs? Fertilization occurs. So what can we say? So when fertilization takes place, then the pollen of the genotype capital T have 50% chance to pollinate the egg of capital T, as well as it have the 50% chance to pollinate the eggs of small t. So students, what does this indicate? This particular gamete can either fuse with this egg or this male gamete can fuse with the egg containing the genotype small t. Are you getting my point, students? When fertilization takes place, then the male gamete, or you can say here we are talking about pollens. So the pollens of the genotype capital T have 50% chance to fuse with the egg containing the gamete capital T, as well as 50% chance to fuse with the gamete containing the gene small t. Same way, now we talk about this small t pollen grain. So this pollen whose genotype is of small t. So this pollen have 50% chance to fuse with the egg containing the genotype capital T, and it have the 50% chance to fuse with the egg containing the genotype small t. Students, are you clear with this point? The gametes, male gamete have 50% chance, this particular male gamete, the male gamete containing the gene capital T, this male gamete have 50% chance to fuse with the female gamete containing capital T gene, as well as it have the 50% chance to fuse with the gamete containing the female gamete containing the small t gene. Similarly, if the pollen is having the genotype small t, it also have 50% chance to meet with the gene capital T of the female gamete, as well as 50% chance to fuse with the female gamete containing the small t genes. So students, when fertilization occurs, the pollens of genotype capital T have 50% chance to pollinate the eggs of genotype capital T as well as of the genotype small t. Similarly, the pollens of genotype small t, they have 50% chance of pollinating the eggs of genotype capital T as well as the genotype small t. So, as random fertilization takes place, it is not necessarily that this particular egg or this particular pollen will fuse with this particular female gamete only. No, this is a random process. So, as the process of fertilization is random, the zygotes can be of the genotypes capital T, small t and small t, small t. As the fertilization is random, say for example, this capital T, if it fuses with this particular capital T, then what would be the genotype? Capital T, capital T. If it fuses with this particular small t gene, so what would be the genotype? Capital T, small t. So as the process of fertilization is a random process, the resultant zygote can be either of capital T genotype or of capital T small t genotype or small t genotype. Now students, I theoretically explained you the Punnett square. Now graphically we will represent a Punnett square. Now students, we will graphically represent a Punnett square, how Punnett square is formed. So, we will take the same example, the crossing between the pure tall and pure dwarf plants. So, parents are pure tall, whose genotype is capital T, and another parent is pure dwarf, whose genotype is small t. This, say for example, I consider as a male parent, and this I consider as a female parent, right? Now, what are the gametes produced by them? All the gametes produced by this particular parent, small t, capital T. The male is having the genotype capital T. Now, all the gametes produced by this particular parent will have the allele capital T. Now students, I told you that gametes are represented either, where are they represented? They are normally represented on the top rows as well as on the left column. So say for example, this particular plant is producing a gamete. What would be the alleles of the gamete? Capital T, and this will be capital T. So where will I represent this gamete? I will represent the gamete, say for example, the male gametes I am representing. This is the male gamete, this is also the male gamete. Where I am representing these male gametes? I am representing on the left columns, right? Now this is a female parent who will produce the gamete small t, small t. Where are the female gametes represented? So normally they are represented on the top rows, right? So what are these? This is a female gamete and this is also a female gamete. Now after the formation of the gametes, there will be the process of fertilization or fusion of the gametes. So now see students, this gamete will fuse with this gamete. So what would be the zygote? Capital T, small t. This gamete may fuse with this particular gamete. So what would be the genotype? Capital T, small t, right? Similarly, this gamete, that is this male gamete, may fuse with this particular female gamete. Then also the genotype would be capital T, small t, and this would also fuse with this female gamete and the genotype would be capital T, small t. Now students, here you can see that all the possibilities in the F1 generation, all the plants of the F1 generation, they have the genotype capital T, small t. The reason is the parents are pure tall and they are pure dwarf. So as they are pure, all the gametes of the male parent will have capital T, all the gametes of the female parents will have the gamete small t. So of course all the fusion will result in the formation of the genotype capital T, small t. What would be their phenotype? They are tall, but they are hybrid tall. Now what happens? The F1 plants are self. So what is the combination of the F1 plants? One is capital T, small t, and they are self. Self means of the same gender, they are mated. Now see students, when the F1 plants are self, now say for example, this we consider as a female parent and this we consider as a, this I consider as a male parent, this is a female parent. Now when the F1 plants are self, that is fusion occurs or crossing occurs between the same plants, that is as P plants are bisexual, the self-pollination will occur there. So pollens of the same plants will set on the stigma of that particular flower only. So when the F1 plants are self, what results would be obtained? Now this is a male parent. Now this male parent will produce two types of gamete. 50% of the gamete will contain the allele capital T, 50% of the gamete will contain the allele small t. Now students, same thing, the Punnett square. So they are represented on the left columns, on outside the left columns. So suppose one allele is here and another male gamete is here. Both these are which gamete? These both are the male gametes. Now similarly, this female plant will also produce the gametes. 50% of the gametes will contain the allele capital T and 50% of the gametes will contain the allele small t. Where will I represent? I will represent them on the top rows. So suppose this is represented here and this gamete I am representing here. Both these are which type of gametes? These both are the female gametes. Now students, the possible combinations between them. So this particular gamete, male gamete, can fuse with this particular female gamete. So what is the combination? Capital T, capital T. Now this gamete can also fuse with the female gamete containing small t. So what is the combination? Capital T, small t. Now suppose this male gamete is fusing. So this male gamete can fuse with the female gamete containing the allele capital T. So what is the possible combination? Capital T, small t. And this particular male gamete can fuse with the female gamete containing the allele small t, small t. So what would be the possible combination? Small t, small t. So students, these are the plants of the F2 generation. Now see, when we talk about, this is the genotypes of, or basically this is the zygote combination of the F2 plants. When these particular plants grow, when the zygote develops, what would be the possible phenotypes? Students, we know the terms genotypes and phenotypes. What do you mean by the term genotype? The term genotype indicates what? The genetic constitution of an organism for a particular character. Which character are we studying? We are studying height as an character. So what is its genotype? Capital T, capital T. If the genotype is capital T, what would be its phenotype? It would be tall. So basically, what do you mean by the term phenotype? The observable thing, the morphological representation of the particular character. What is it called as? It is called as phenotype. So here, this is capital T, small t. Now we know that when the capital T, small t condition arises, that condition was found in F1 generation. So what was the phenotype developed? Tall. So here also that same phenotype is developed tall. Again capital T, small t is tall, and when both the genes are small t, then it is dwarf. So students, from here we can generate the phenotypic and the genotypic ratio. Now see, what is the genotypic ratio? So here you can see that one plant is capital T, These two plants are with the ratios capital T, small t, and one plant is with the genotype small t. How is genotypic ratio determined? So here one plant is having the genotype capital T, two plants are having the genotype capital T, small t, and one with the genotype small t. So this number, that is 1:2:1, this is called as the Mendel's monohybrid ratio. What is it called as? It is called as the Mendel's, very important students. This is called as the Mendel's monohybrid ratio, that is a genotypic ratio. And what is the phenotypic ratio? What do you mean by the phenotype? The physical, or you can say the observable appearance, the particular character observed. What is that called as? Phenotype. So now from this you can say that 3 plants are tall, right? 1, 2 and 3. 3 plants are tall and 1 plant is dwarf. So this ratio 3:1, what is it called as? It is called as the phenotypic ratio. So students, are you clear with the Punnett square? How to represent a Punnett square? So basically, to represent a Punnett square, parents basically are taken, they are pure tall, pure dwarf. The gametes formed by them are represented on the top rows as well as on the left columns, and then the possible combinations are made and we get the organisms of the F1 generation. Now the F1 generation will be selfed, they will form the gametes, and then again same thing, the gametes either are written on the top rows and the left columns, and we get the F2 generation. From this experiment, we can get the genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio. So the monohybrid genotypic ratio is the 1:2:1 and the Bendel's phenotypic ratio is 3:1. Now students, keep in mind that this ratio he got for all the total 7 characters studied by him. When he studied all the total 7 characters, he obtained the same genotypic and phenotypic ratio. What is the genotypic ratio? 1:2:1 and the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. So this is how the Punnett square is represented.